It is day 10, and considering my pickup is first thing in the morning on day 12, that means I need to make it all the way to my pickup location at Canyon Creek on the Peel River in 2 days. So I have 2 big paddling days in front of me. Very, very smoky, thick smell of smoke in the air, and chilly morning, by far the coldest it's been on this trip yet. So yeah, today, probably about less than 10 kilometers from now, I'll be faced with some violent whitewater rapids, followed by several more, hopefully somewhat easier ones. And I'm gonna have to bang off 40K however you look at it, even if I have to paddle to midnight and sleep for 4 hours and get up and do it again. So hopefully it's not that intense. Anyways, here we go. It appears my ground pad got a little too close. Like, wow, that's a lot of steam today. I guess because it's colder or something. And then it's like, oh, it's smoke from my foam ground pad burning. Brown sugar morning. You bet your ass. We live in falling ground. We are the listen more than sound. We have no home. You're not alone. You're welcome. Perfect. Nailed the eyeballing at coffee. I'll feel good once I get these rapids behind me, but my feeling is, like, most of the time you hear about the rapids on these rivers and they get built up and legend, and then in your own mind, and you get there and they're not so bad. Like, maybe they would be bad in June kind of thing, they'd be crazy in portage, but by the time you're later on in the summer, usually they're not too crazy, you know. Well, I brought 2 belts, but one of them that I've had for a very long time broke right at the leather, just broke at the buckle. So don't call me a cheapskate, but I'm gonna have to use this rope for my belt buckle, which I do a lot. I'm gonna go with a reef knot. Okay, getting there. So many things to do in the morning. It's hard to get out of camp in a reasonable amount of time. This is a Bluetti EB3A, and this is what I charge my trips with. This just gives me peace of mind, and it also is really mandatory for the type of filming I do out here to keep my camera batteries charged, so I can charge my drone batteries out here. More power than I even need. Yeah, I'd highly recommend picking up a Bluetti EB3A. Awesome little portable power device. You hear these called a solar generator as well, because solar panels generate electricity and this stores it. There's also a wireless output that's 15 watts on the top, so you can just lay your smartphone if you're doing filming with that, or you're in a place where there's cell reception and you keep that charged. You have a GPS in there, etc., etc. So that's an easy way to charge. But yeah, I can charge this thing on the go, and when I'm at camp, sometimes I'll plug in a computer power bar to this and get all my batteries charging. So really love this. The Bluetti EB3A, 600 watt, 268 watt hours on this puppy. Haven't had any portaging yet, or I would have put my mess kit bag in my big food barrel because there's enough room in there for it, but stow's pretty easy just like this and makes the food barrel a little lighter. So whitewater doesn't start for about 12K, so I'm going to tuck this away, but I'm definitely going to be using this whitewater paddle today. I'm using some power of positive thought here to think that this canyon rapid's going to be runnable. The river's pretty wide there, right? So there might be like a sneak route where I can bypass some of the huge waves and stuff like that, but I think that's it. Ready to hit the water. Okay, on the water, day 10. So I have to make it the rest of my journey today and tomorrow. You can't really count day 12 as a travel day. I got my work cut out for me, baby. If Elliott Creek wasn't so low where I started, and you could bang that off in a day and a half, that would have helped. But yeah, I don't think having 14 days would be too much for this route, because then you could, you know, probably do 3 big hikes and not be as pressed for time. Maybe have to do between 20 and 30K a day and never have to do any 45+ K days. So all right, feels good to be on the water. It looks like it's turning out to be another beautiful day. What weather! I don't want to complain, but a little hotter than ideal. Now it's going to be like winter after just saying that. But wow, immediately the epic scenery starts. It's incredible. The mist is almost making it look more like whimsical, majestic, like something out of, I don't know, the lost world, we'll call it. As I was looking up there, I looked up and I saw a flash of white disappearing behind 2 rocks. So I saw, pretty sure I just saw about this much of a Dall sheep. They're not easy to see. I think that the first rapid today is long, but it's a class 2. I'm not sure if I'll get into anything more advanced today, but there's one where there's an island and it's a class 3. I just don't know which side of the island to go on, so might have to do some scouting for sure. Just the way it happened is that the days where I got to be doing 40K each day are the same days that I have to deal with the most intense rapids of the trip, which are time consuming. And so the last thing you want to do is start rushing when you're around rapids and run something that you shouldn't, or, you know, portage something that you didn't have to. Mostly the danger is running something that you shouldn't when you're in a rush, or not scouting it properly and dumping and trashing your boat and losing everything and drowning would be a worst case scenario. Knock on wood. This isn't marked on my map, but looks like it's a pretty good rapid here. So I'm gonna run it. I don't have time to bust out my whitewater paddle really. Just bedrock underneath me. Smooth bedrock. Well, if this is unmarked, that makes me think the one I'm coming up to It's going to be fairly substantial. This is like a class 1. Ooh. Had to make a little move there. It's curling pole basically. Waterfall trickling down there. Wow. I just did a shot of me paddling around this big bend in the river that just completely flanked with a mountain and cliffs and light brown to khaki to gray to black rock, and a waterfall stream trickling in through a tight valley cut through the middle of the mountain. I don't know what it is, the lighting, the smell of the air, the crispness of the air, the color of the water. I don't know what it is, but it's just so humbling. The size of the mountain, the little bit of fear I felt coming up, hearing that the rapid, wondering if there's a rapid, and it just like is somehow incredibly connecting and spiritual moment here for me right now. Like, people ask me why I do these things, and it's for moments of like this, and from the bottom of my heart, the best way I can explain it is that you feel the presence of a greater force than yourself. I don't know what it is about this spot. There's 100 spots on this river that are super special, but for some reason this spot is just really speaking to me right now. It's literally like humbling and like literally emotional, I guess is how I could describe the feeling that you get sometimes when you're in places like this. And one good thing about doing them solo is that you kind of are forced to sort of connect with that in a way that you might not be when you're involved in the conversations and connectedness of a group. Although personally I do like probably traveling with a group better. But yeah, definitely you get these moments of introspection when you just are paddling on miles of beautiful river, and you sort of automatically get into like a meditative state almost, and allows you to connect with thoughts that don't seem to come from your own mind. This looks like an epic fishing hole. I bet you there's more in there than just grayling. Maybe lake trout, maybe bull trout, I don't know. I don't have time though to fish it. River valleys opened up here. It's really beautiful too. Well, we are nearing where the main whitewater is, but on the way there it looks like we got another rapid here. Yeah, a ledge or something there. Just gonna avoid it rather than trying to scout. Oh yeah, that wouldn't be fun to go into. Might dump if you bombed into that. Probably not. The river's picking up some steam here though. Looks like we got another one up here too. And this whitewater paddle, it's heavier than my other one. But you could just tell that right away it just maneuvers the boat so much more effectively. See, these are the things where I can more or less avoid the crazy part. But I could run it, I just would have to scout first. rapids. That was fun. None of those are marked. Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That's fun. Actually had a wave come up and over the bow there. I think I see a moose. Bye, moose. Bye. She just kind of hung out and watched me drift by. That was cool. Well, we got this marked rapid coming up, so I better start paying attention to the river. Well, this doesn't look like much, so either the rapid is more substantial when the map was made in higher water, or I'm not where I think I am. Okay, here's something coming up here. Well, it doesn't look like much. It looks more like a class 1 than a class 2. It does look pretty long and fun though. It's one that can't really be bypassed, and it's probably always here. That's probably why it's marked on the topo maps, where some of the other ones I ran today, I could have kind of avoided them, and they're on turns where there might not be much. Very water level dependent. Some weird stuff going on here though. Weird rapid. It's like trying to suck you that way, which wouldn't be fun. Oh, it might be fun. You might dump though. Here we go. Here's something a little more spirited. All right, baby. Man, I'm loving this paddle by H2O Paddles. It just controls this boat, especially because I'm paddling a 15-foot boat solo and fully loaded. Just the extra width of this paddle blade really gives me the control I need. Wonder where that's coming from. So I went around an island to the right because it looked like more rapids to the left, and there's a big rapid where the two currents collided at the downriver side of the island. And right as I was hitting that rapid, I smelled a strong smell of sulfur, which is a telltale sign of hot springs. I've done almost 20 clicks today, so I'm making decent time. Of course, the rapid turned out to be a lot easier than I thought, though there are some class 3s coming up today too, but you know, that was supposed to be a class 2. It's more like a class 1, so I'm thinking at these levels they won't be super time consuming. Of course, you never know. Well, I jumped out of the canoe. I'm walking back upriver on what looks like an extremely well-worn game trail. The game trail just follows the river. Sometimes stretches of river don't freeze up, and animals will use a trail like a portage trail in the winter and then head back to walking on the river when the ice is safe. But it almost looks like it could be a portage trail, but I doubt anyone would be portaging this stretch of river, so that's why we're calling it a game trail. Now that I've walked back a ways and I don't smell any sulfur anymore, I highly doubt that I would be able to have smelled sulfur from a hot springs back here when I was down running that rapid, so my hopes are pretty low at this point. Who knows, maybe it's just a dead rotting moose carcass in the woods. It could have been just a swamp or something, you know, just off in the bush, like a swampy, really stagnant swamp. I don't know. Look how much higher the water gets through here sometimes, just all along there. Well, we've pretty much come to the end here. Beautiful little side hike. Definitely no hot springs. Not here anyway, so who knows what I was smelling, but definitely was a strong smell of sulfur. Some very interesting markings in the rocks here. Like lava flowing around boulders. These here are rose hips. Not quite ready yet, but the rose flower grows out of here. And the skin is edible. Got all those nasty rose thorns. You open it, the seeds inside can crack your teeth. Typically it wouldn't be green if it was ripe. Let's give her a taste. Not ripe, but not bad. These little guys again. I've seen cloudberries. I was calling them low brush Arctic raspberries, but could they be cloudberries? I've seen cloudberries before. We had a bunch in Labrador, and the little circles are a lot bigger. So maybe people call those cloudberries here. I don't know. They're definitely edible. Blueberries too. Berries. I'm a big berry guy. Big berry guy. A little bit of a different species of blueberry. The bushes grow taller. Why did you miss your photo plane, Jim? Oh, I was just picking some berries. Lots of berries in here. Oh, tons of blueberries in here. If I never picked up such a perfect little trail, I definitely wouldn't have gone so far, but I wanted to see where it led. You know, could just be an animal trail, and I think it's mostly used by animals now, but I'd bet that this is the old portage trail here. Well, as I'm back in my canoe looking at my map, I see here on the portage trail, I remember where I crossed this creek. It was all bushed in, but this creek coming down off the mountain, there wasn't any water in it, but sometimes when the water's low, it'll be running underneath the ground or underneath rocks. I remember crossing that creek on the trail. So potentially, if there was a hot spring, it would be somewhere coming out of this mountain there, and by that point it'd be underground. So if I walked up, I might have found warm water coming out of there. Could also be part of the reason why there's a trail there, but probably not. It's probably just a pipe dream, and I got to get going. So I wish I had thought of that being like, I kept looking for this creek, but I kind of imagined more something in the open and boulder strewn than, you know, more of a forest stream type of thing. So, and again, I didn't smell anything, but if I was going to go search again, I'd walk up that creek bed, up the mountain, and see if I could see any hot springs coming out of the mountain. So maybe that's for next time. I'll have to paddle this river again. Some devastation from flooding here within the last couple of years. It looks like all these trees are just bam, taken right out. No doubt by other debris and trees being pushed into them. That wasn't even marked. It's marked with a contour line crossing the river there on the topographic map. That was like way more intense than the marked rapid, albeit much shorter. Yeah, I'm just making my way along here. I've been on the water for a while. I've made it about a bit more than 30 clicks today. So I have 10 more to do. You know, it wouldn't hurt for me to get a bit ahead so I wouldn't have a full 40 clicks to do on my last day tomorrow. Which just sounds crazy that tomorrow's my last day. Wow, that's sad and happy both at the same time. Beauty spot for a lunch stop, just in this big back eddy here. Couple of casting food, you know. Good number of grayling right here in this little pool. Freaking awesome. Well, not bad little spot here. Caught 4 fish, so no tributary, but the water's just clear enough and there's a nice big back eddy. I didn't keep any because I'm hoping I get to camp with enough time to cook up a stew and use those vegetables I've been hanging on to since the beginning of the trip before they go bad. I only have 2 nights left. That's crazy. So maybe on my last night, if I'm lucky, I'll have a nice big fish fry again, but I'm hoping to cook up a Rubaboo tonight. Wolf prints. Getting pretty sick at trail mix by this day 10, but I'm not sick of my Amish tacos. Loving this paddle for the whitewater, much more than just a cutting board it is. Seagulls. To me, that's a sign that we're getting closer to a larger body of water. In this case, the Peel River, the mighty Peel. Well, we have another couple sets of marked rapids on this map. I know there's going to be some class 3s in here somewhere, but my fear level, considering how the last ones were, which is pretty easy, my fear level has subsided substantially. Maybe there'll be class 3 like in places, or who knows, maybe it'll be a raging class 3, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be something I have to portage. Pretty sure. We got this big easy bend here. Looks like we're coming through another burn, and after that we have another marked rapid, so we'll see. Looks like there'll be plenty of room to pull out on either side to scout it if I have to.
And then after that, we have about 3 kilometers, and I've done my 40 clicks for the day. But right at kilometer 220 of my adventure, there's, well, actually, sorry, right at kilometer 225 of my adventure, there's another rapid. So do I run it and then put it behind me and camp at the base of it? I don't know. We'll have to see how I feel. Ooh, getting pretty tired. Here's the rapid. Looks like a class 2, so I'm not gonna bother putting on my Drysuit all the way. Like, it's not even a bouldery one. Looks like there might be some tricky waves, but I'm just gonna go for it. I can see the end of it too. Yeah, so I'm not scouting this, but I don't really need to. There's no boulders. I can see from, you know, scouting it obviously from the boat, and I pulled over, but I don't see it disappear around a blind corner. I see that it empties into a slower part of river, so if I did dump, my boat would be gone. I watch the stars glowing in the night, making that sky light up just for you and I. There's no doubt it's all gonna work out. I'm approaching my 40 clicks for the day. I gotta decide, do I push on or do I pull over and make a good meal, which I could use, and get a good night's sleep, get an earlier start on the day tomorrow. Well, that was pretty fun. I definitely think this rapid needs a name, and it should be Rapide au Goélands. That means rapid of the gulls, or even just gull rapid. Appropriate name, I think, and it's in French just because it sounds better. Well, it's 6:30 and I've done my 40K. I'm coming up to this one last rapid here, and I think I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna go ahead and say I think this one's gonna be a solid class 3, because when I look at the map, I see a marked rapid along with a contour line that crosses the river here. And whenever you see a contour line crossing the river at a marked rapid, usually it's something a little more interesting. So coming up to it right now, I'm probably gonna pop out and scout this one out and then find a place to camp at its base. I'll probably get to camp with any luck around 7 o'clock, so not too bad for a 40 kilometer plus long day. Okay, well, I scouted out the rapid and I'm gonna give her. So I couldn't scout the rapid very well because I'm on an island and I couldn't get up beside it. It doesn't really look like a proper class 3, although I'm sort of far away from it, so it might be deceiving. It definitely looks irregular, which means like all the waves are sort of crisscrossing. There's no just easy, fun, straight shot down. I might have to do some maneuvering when I get down into it. Oh, she looks pretty good.
Son, keep your nose clean, but I can't help but smell the stench of others' evil rising up from hell. My heart beats like Virginia, done split myself in two. One side made for forgiveness, other place that
Well, kinda nailed that.
Now I can look for a campsite.
There's two huge standing waves on the right at the top.
But I missed them because my line...
Like after them was a sketchy looking hole that I wanted to avoid for obvious reasons. So, but maybe if I'd been able to scout, I would have hit them for fun.
This looks like a good place to call home for the night. Whoa, what a beautiful evening. Wow. I just got to change out of this. Was the Drysuit necessary for today? No, but you never know, like if it was a cold day out, it would have been a lot nicer, but with this warm weather, your odds on getting hypothermia are way less, because as soon as you get out of the water, even if you've been in for a long time, you warm up. Ideally, I wouldn't have left 40K for my last day. 40K and what are definitely going to be hands down the toughest rapids of the trip on the Peel River. A whole bunch of ledges and solid, you know, long class 3. So, but I mean, I guess there's good current and it's nothing that I haven't done before. So I'm not too worried. Plus, it doesn't get dark till late. If I have to push late, I can. My float plane is coming at like 9 in the morning tomorrow or something like that. So it's gonna be here pretty early. Just gonna use my cold steel Hudson Bay axe. This is a perfect kind of axe for canoe trips. It's got a longer handle like a small axe does, which gives you way more head speed for chopping. So it's bigger and more effective than a hatchet, but not as cumbersome and large as a full-size axe, which is perfect for doing small camp chores in the summertime particularly, or you know, in the winter if you have to carry something. So yeah, Hudson Bay axe by Cold Steel. This one's a little different because there's two locking Allen keys there, and you can actually remove the head. You can field swap it more easily. Good steel too. So anyways, this is the type of axe I use on these adventures, and I really like the Cold Steel one. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a tripod so that I can hang my pot. I just cut this from a branch of a spruce tree, and this is what I'm gonna hang my pot from. First of all, I'm just gonna cut a little notch there, and I'm just gonna very tightly tie off to that. Well, we are gonna cook up a Rubaboo stew. That's why I set up this tripod. I'm gonna put a fire at its base and use this to hang my pot over it. Rubaboo is actually a mix of two languages. A roux is a thickening agent in French, a thickening agent that you'd add to a soup, and abou is an Algonquian word for soup or stew. So this is why we're gonna make a Rubaboo, and the key ingredient to this is pemmican. I make pemmican myself at home. It's basically a mixture of animal fat and dried powderized meat, and sometimes dried powderized berries. But I also have a few other ingredients, including some fresh vegetables. This is day 10. I'm gonna add some vegetables, root vegetables, so onions, potatoes, and carrots. I usually keep pretty well. And first I'm gonna get a fire going, and I'm gonna start cooking, and should really hit the spot because I'm feeling pretty hungry. Another thing you might come in contact with when you're in the bush is wild mushrooms. I'm gonna add some canned mushrooms. This is the main ingredient here. This is homemade pemmican beef broth, and this is a concentrated stuff. You could just use water like river stock, but this is great to have. There's another ingredient. Guess what it is? If you guess bacon, you're right. It's gonna take a bit more time just to let it boil and simmer down though, so hopefully I'll be able to hold myself together because I'm really hungry. That is ready. That is a lot of food. That is delicious. Nailed it. The Voyageurs would be proud. It was really hot this evening, and then it cooled right off, but it takes a little while to cook this, but it's worth it. Tomorrow is going to be my last day on the river. It's going to be a full day though, because I have to go 40 kilometers and deal with the most challenging rapids of the trip by far. Well, I think I'm gonna just sit here and eat this for probably another half an hour at least. I think I'm gonna try to pack all of it in. I need a good meal. It's a big day tomorrow, so good night, and hopefully the weather stays amazing for tomorrow and for my float plane pickup. I wouldn't want to get weathered in, so fingers crossed.